All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Assassination Classroom, Season 1, Episode 2. All right, so we've got ourselves the premise of this new show here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This show has Korosensei, the alien tentacled teacher,
right,
with a very very specific goal that we have been given. All these kind of delinquent students, if you will. Not necessarily all of them, but
the ones that society deemed insufficient,
awkward to handle. So now they are going to be taught by Korosensei in the art of assassination
and
with
life.
With their but with their ultimate target being Korosensei. And if they do not kill him, the world will end.
Yep. All right, there we go. Don't need to worry about graduating.
And if they succeed, they'll get stupid filthy rich.
Yep.
So we've got the perfect carrot and the stick in front and behind them. And Nagisa, our main boy here, got clarification on gender with regards to Nagisa. That's a rather interesting setup there, in that we have a main character that we got a little bit of backstory for, but came really close to actually dealing a fatal blow to Korosensei.
He actually had to do something different than he's done up till now in order to keep from being harmed and keep Nagisa from being harmed.
Yeah, and it's not that he's invulnerable, it's that he's ridiculously fast. So fast he blew a hole through them. And that's its own problems that they'll have to deal with. But what's exciting then is that it means that if he's ever not paying attention, if he's ever not, on his toes, one of them could kill him. It's not that they need some kind of special weaponry or something like that. Yeah, it is possible. But yes, he did give us some Onizuka vibes.
Indeed. Yeah, and the fact that the kamikaze attack, but it seemed very similar to a hug, and that's what got him. Maybe that's sort of that Spider-Man thing of you go for his heart, which is maybe also where these students, need the most help. But,
well, yeah, they definitely need the most help, but where does he need the most help? We saw his backstory kind of in a little bit of like a mini flashback, and there was someone that he either lost or had to say goodbye to or something, but he is from Earth.
Right.
Theoretically. At least we've been told. But he does seem to be kind of an alien type thing. So I guess the main question is that, was he human at some point? Did he, lose his humanity entirely? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
Wow. You could also say that this is teaching them, teamwork and stuff.
Right. What are they attached to this baseball?
I think it's the BBs.
Oh, yes, it is. It is, that's right.
Wow. Newspaper hadn't even been able to fall over.
Nope.
Wow.
Homeroom, let's go.
I'd be really curious to see if they tried to do one of those does he ever come in physical contact with him, shaking hands or anything like that?
Oh, I'm sure. Plenty of times, yeah.
Because they could try and do that sneaky palm, thing.
Right.
With the BBs or I'm really excited to see what kind of just different things they come up with, even though none of it will work.
It's been a while since I've seen an anime OP specifically with synchronized dancing as being part of the thing there. So it's that was a thing that a lot of anime in the 2000s were really pushing to have in their OPs, right?
Yep.
What a running montage. Now let's have synchronized dancing.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
Cheating. Oh.
Ah!
Wow. Wow.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Ah. So he does like baseball, and now he wants to go and watch a game. Ah. Yes. Government agent. They're like, he left immediately. Like, get out of our bunker that's right outside the class and run in here. Ridiculously tough. Yes!
Wow.
Yep. Find out why. That's your key.
Wow.
Nice, nice. Because he'll stay here. So why does a being that can fly at Mach 20 leave the Earth, though? That's the question. What forces them to leave? Huh. Oh, his like goopy tentacle noises.
Is he gonna teach him to throw better?
Well, I would say yeah, but like now he's in this class. How does he actually like participate in any clubs?
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. There's no potential for it.
Good point.
Oh no, he's gonna make a field for them here.
Oh, yep. That's gonna be fantastic.
Gotcha.
Ouch.
That's a bad feeling. I've been there. The old end class. Ah, nice. It's their nickname for it. Ah, he was testing his muscle capacity. Yes. Super out of whack.
Okay.
You gotta develop them. Get lifting. Woo. Reality.
So adapt.
Oh, about people's capacities and capabilities?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Ooh, how dare you.
Yeah, we have plenty of people that are already telling us there are things we can't do, and that's why we're here.
I mean, no, but the point that Nagisa jumped to that we shouldn't even try.
Right. Wow.
Ah, keep your tentacles to yourself.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
For research purposes.
Yes, that is the only fondling that tentacles should do.
Right. Understand yourself and build your strengths. Whoa. He doesn't radiate a killer aura, you know?
Yeah.
The animals are just like, oh, yeah. Aww. Anywhere near that far, that's a funny sentence.
Wow.
Oh,
that's awesome.
The nervous kind of nibbling at a pen thing, but instead because he's so strong, he just bites all the way through it. Yeah, he's definitely human, but was like, you know, experimented on or something.
Cool. Wow.
Oh,
it's basically
the score's
asking
gone
to
up a
play
bit.
catch.
Congrats.
Even though it's still, 32 out of 50, right? Which is a failing grade, but it's good job.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Genius. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh! This is brilliant. They're continuing it.
Yeah.
They're getting him to slow down, and then someone approaches with the knife.
Yeah.
Lighter than he looks. Interesting. Hey, everything adds up together over time and creates a bigger picture,
Exactly.
Okay, so that's how far away the actual school is. Gotcha. And it is very much an elite school.
Ah, okay.
Okay, that makes sense as to why he would be on site.
Right.
I have my teaching certificate.
Of course.
That's how bad it is for them, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what? Oh my god, so cute.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And if the school's that good, then that means just the fact that they're going to this school means they're probably still pretty smart and pretty capable.
Right. But they're being treated like garbage because they're not 60% above the average.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my god!
That's great.
None. Oh. Get him!
Yeah.
When he shows off, things get shaky. Oh. Yeah, you don't want to hurt any of them. Loses composure rather easily, yeah. And throw the baseball.
Right, he's just playing with them. And not in a mean way either.
Oh! Wow. Very, very petty. Right.
Yep, now they're positive and looking forward and yep. And homework.
Yeah.
You
kind of look at the camera there like,
I'm fast enough to break the fourth wall.
Yes, indeed.
Oh.
Student? Cool.
How do they know that those things will work on him?
Yeah, exactly.
If they haven't been able to, like, actually...
Well, exactly. That's the thing. He's from Earth, Jacob.
Right. Okay.
Problem boy. Here we go.
Yep. Cool. All right.
And we're into the ED.
I really want to see just all the ridiculous places they can stuff those BBs. Like, putting it in his food. Like, doing all these things. Like...
See, that's once they actually start thinking like an assassin.
Right.
And then he'll really kind of have to be like, I guess I can no longer eat here. And then he blinks, and like 4 seconds later, he comes back with like pizza and stuff, and he's just like, oh no, what do I do? There's such great food you guys are growing out here, you know?
They go for the classic bucket over the door,
Like, they just rig the whole place.
Yeah.
And he's like, ho, you think gravity is faster than me? Like, how good?
A student one day just comes in with them, like, stuck to every part of their body and is just like, hug me, Korosensei.
Or someone's like, and then they like spit out like a whole bunch of them. Yeah, the food one is pretty devious because you wouldn't be able to see it. I think that's actually one of the biggest advantages they have is they'll be able to just have more action economy and just see things that he doesn't see.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Okay. All right. So we've got ourselves a little bit of an interesting kind of deviation of things here. We slowed down the pacing of the episode quite a bit from the previous one because the last one was trying to shove in a bunch of exposition as fast as possible. But we focused on an individual classmate,
right? Sugino.
Yep. And I believe it was Sugino, or was it Yugino? I think Sugino. You're right. And Sugino is one that was actually a member of the baseball club with regards to the official part of the school, the main part of the school, and ended up performing poorly and thus was benched and no longer allowed to pitch.
But I want to point something out. He actually did play as a pitcher for a while. Usually, especially in a competitive school or whatever, you don't get to do that unless during practice, like,
you're pretty good.
Yep. So, and it was displayed here that he does have some talent, right?
He does.
He just needs to figure out his style.
Right. And I think what it is specifically is that because they're an elite school, they're getting compared to other elite schools. So they either have this unhealthy aspect of competition where because everyone is so elite at their specific thing, they're not compared against the average anymore. They're compared against by the little deviations of how far above average they are. And let's be real, pitching is the most important position in baseball. So because about 70, maybe 60% of the game just ends at the pitcher's mound and the batter.
An ideal baseball game is where nothing happens. Like
you completely shut them out and you play and you throw a perfect game. And you 27 strikeouts and there you go. That's that. But as someone who did pitch a little bit when I was like younger playing baseball, and then I would say really badly the older I got, because there was this dramatic physical increase that you would get, as you moved into your teen years and stuff. And because I just couldn't throw fast like this guy's experiencing. Yeah. There were multiple times where it'd be like, okay, we need a relief pitcher and we need to save the arms of our good pitchers. Caleb, get out there. And it's like, okay, all right. And it'd be like, I'm going to throw about 20 pitches. I know that's all I'm about to throw here. And it'd be like, okay, I'm not going to strike out anyone, like no one, but I'm just going to throw a changeup and a fastball and just alternate that every once in a while. That was all I could do. I could never throw a curveball. Even if I tried, people be like, was that just like a bad changeup? Like what was that even supposed to be? And I'm like, yeah, I know I can't throw a curveball, but I just basically had to rely on my infield and outfield to be like, yeah, we'll cover for you. Just throw good throws and you'll be fine. But there were multiple times where they'd be like, oh no, Caleb, we're gonna have you throw like 40 to 50 pitches. I'm like, okay, around pitch 35, ball. Okay, man. Caleb, you're out. And I'm like, all right, cool. That was
That's rough.
Pretty common, though. It's be like age 15 or 16 and be like, yep. Yeah, I literally pitch only when everyone else is exhausted or they're saving another pitcher for a better opponent.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, but you're not going to throw anyway unless we're up by 50 points. Otherwise, you're just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the bench. Yep.
Keep it warm.
Yep. Exactly. Or maybe play some right field. You know how it is. Yeah, exactly. But I loved that we are very lightly touching upon Sugino as a character here, and just really quickly, because there's so many characters in this class, and the OP is basically giving us the list of all the names, which is insane because that's far too many to develop in any three-dimensional way. So we have to give each of them a specific motivation, a specific kind of flaw and goal.
Terse and to the point.
And have it be to the point. And I would say this episode gave more focus actually to Korosensei actually than Sugino.
Sure. Yeah. And that's something that makes sense, right? Because maybe even more so than Nagisa, Korosensei is kind of the main character, right? Because he's all of them, right? That's why he's teaching them, right? Because he sees himself in them, right? So it makes sense that he would get at least a decent amount of focus every episode, especially given that he's going to be one of the people interacting with whatever student gets the focus for that episode.
Right. And we got to see different iterations on how everyone would attack Korosensei, but we also got to see through Nagisa. Nagisa has the kind of note-taking fanboy kind of approach of this, of I don't need to do the assassination stuff. I'm just going to sit back and observe, which is good because then Nagisa is going to note patterns. And patterns are basically the entire thing that denotes the nature of an individual human being from the masses.
Right.
Is their patterns are slightly different from other people's patterns.
Because
and we're starting to get vibes that he's kind of more human than alien.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and like if Korosensei was like a machine, right? Then I would just say they have no hope, right? Like unless they can figure out some like problem with this program or whatever, they would have no chance, right? But because he's an actual person, then they can be like, okay, yeah, maybe he can move at Mach 20 and all that stuff. But there's instances where we've seen him mess up, not in a way that's serious, not that lets us actually get him, but that makes it harder for him. Right.
It makes him have to try and be creative and or just run away.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really like about kind of imagining what this would be like in video game terms is that this would be like playing against someone in a MOBA where they can basically just hit a button and they immediately go back to their home kind of center place and they can just heal back up again. That in and of itself is busted, but what that means that is if you stun them enough, and you lock them down perfectly in sequence
there's a possibility.
There's a possibility.
Or maybe they're not paying it close enough attention. You get them distracted with some funny cat video on the side, right? You know.
The thing is that he has also like, 10,000% movement speed, which isn't of itself a thing, but because he's a person, he doesn't want to just zip around the map constantly. He wants to hang out and, engage with people and stuff. So that means that even though, he's not, moving, his greatest strength actually is not the fact that he can just move at that speed. His greatest strength is that he can leave this planet. He does not have to be here. Which, if they're going to big brain this, Nagisa was just told that Korosensei made a promise to someone with regards to this class here. That's true. Very important. So Nagisa is starting to clue in a little bit to the idea that there's more to this than just the reward and or the punishment. So that's the angle that Nagisa will need to, investigate into.
One of the things that I would be really interested to ask Korosensei if I was in this situation is, and granted, if I was one of the students, I'd be a lot younger, so, there's that.
Sure,
but also
13 or something.
Right. But I also wouldn't know about Korosensei's backstory or things like that, right? Only what I've interacted with him. But if it was something where he's wanting to destroy the Earth, I would want to know why. What are you going to do after?
And they'd be like, "Oh, I don't tell you these kinds of things."
Right, but that's the kind of thing where I would be kind of suspicious because it's like he seems to care about teaching us, yet he's also saying that he's going to kill us all. So,
so
what's the deal?
Yeah,
you know,
I am waiting for that moment where I forgot what's from, but that was an acceptable ruse. You know, what's that from? That's My Hero Academia, with Aizawa constantly lying about how the consequences are going to be so horrible.
Right.
Wait a minute.
What?
Is Aizawa a little bit of a Korosensei reference in that he has tentacle powers and stuff, and he negates any attack they do against him? And
I think that just makes him an effective teacher.
Yeah, true. That might be it. It's just that it makes him a really good teacher. But
how else would you do it? Like in any situation, thankfully, these kids only have weapons, and they're rubber weapons and things like that, so
they can't hurt each other.
Right. I mean, they could theoretically shoot a BB into someone's eye, and that is a potential issue. Right.
Totally. They could gang up 6v1 and hurt one of them, but they have no reason to do that because every person in here is helping the cause. The one thing they haven't fully explained yet is I think this is just assumed because that's why they're not explaining it exactly. Is that there's no competition against each other because they're going to share the 10 billion yen.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Which means that eventually maybe we'll get into the discussion of, hey,
like kill off a classmate.
to divide the numbers a little bit better. That's the thing. That could be a way in which Korosensei gets really pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like,
right.
Don't you realize that your only chance of doing this at all is if you work together?
Well, and he mentioned the whole thing in the first episode of you put Nagisa in jeopardy.
Yeah.
You know, don't you ever do that
Don't ever
again.
do that again.
Now, theoretically, a bunch of the students could all agree and be like, hey, but that did get, Korosensei in a position that we haven't been able to get him in before.
That's true.
They all take the BB guns, eyes open wide, and just point at each other and start firing.
I mean,
that'd be really dark. But if they've determined that he will save them, how would he stop the BBs?
He doesn't stop the BBs. He moves them.
Oh, good
it's really
point. Yeah,
easy.
no, he just pushes the guns. Yeah, that's right.
I think the biggest thing that we have about this is that he is capable of using his Mach 20 speed in a way that is safe.
Right.
So there is no way to outspeed him at all.
Right. The drink that he gets from Hawaii doesn't explode from the wind drag,
Right.
Yeah.
He brings it here to drink it here.
Yeah.
He is flexing on these kids so hard just to be like, oh, you think I wouldn't have accounted for that?
Right.
I would say that, yes, it's something where they're going to have to emotionally engage with him so that he stops moving and actually flushes his face with a color specific to the emotion that he's experiencing. And then he will be slightly vulnerable. But if we kind of continue the show like this, where every episode we give a little bit of characterization to a specific character there.
Yep.
A specific classmate, I'm for that. One of the things that they're going to have to be careful about is that they don't spread themselves so thin that they spend basically like the entire show just kind of introducing characters.
Right, and never doing anything with the characters, yeah.
Right, so you'll need to kind of haiku this and combine them in groups of like 2, 3, and 4 at a time.
Yes, and by the way, that doesn't have to be a cop-out. That can actually be a really good way of doing it.
I agree.
Because even though these students are rejects from the school, they can have friendships and things like that and connections and whatnot. Even if it doesn't necessarily have to do with, say, Nagisa, right?
Yes.
With Sugino, we got the feeling that Sugino and Nagisa kind of got along, previously, and maybe that's why Sugino was the second character introduced, or kid introduced.
Yeah.
But for the others, maybe there's like a group of 3 of them, and they're all dealing with sort of the same thing in their own unique ways. Right. And then that way Korosensei can help them all at once.
Yeah, the delinquents were kind of a squad at specific points there. We did see when they were all just kind of bantering in the classroom and stuff that they definitely had like a specific little cliques and groups and stuff that they moved in.
As you'd have at school.
Absolutely. With Nagisa keeping kind of track about these specific things regarding Korosensei, one of the things that I could see being really important here is that Nagisa is basically the one that ends up just becoming friends first with Korosensei.
Right.
Because I think the point is that all of them are going to end up caring about Korosensei in some ways because there's so much energy and focus devoted to their teacher. which is such a weird, and I would say it's a reverse concept of what a teaching classroom environment typically is. Their usual energy is focused around the subject matter, not the teacher delivering the subject matter. They heed the teacher, but the teacher is just a vessel, a vehicle for the subject matter.
Because the teaching is usually not personalized to the actual students. It's just...
It's homogenized and given out in a...
Right, in order to fit that bell curve. You know?
Right, which means that Korosensei is already acting very much not like a typical teacher. Which is going to endear the characters that he gives unique and individual instruction to
definitely.
Over time.
Yep.
So, with that in mind, I would love to see the story, the show, kind of go into the aspect of what will be different now between the premium elite school and the reject class, and how eventually what will end up happening is they'll go on like trips to the school and like throw down in like specific subjects and specific competitions and stuff. Great. And Korosensei is like all the cheerleaders at once, you know, just and they're all like synchronized movements with regards to how, but it's like slightly off because it's really.
And Korosensei, because he has to keep this a secret, is so good at it with changing into disguises and everything that no one can tell.
There's just this really gusty wind constantly around 3E. I don't know what it is. Also, what's really funny about this is that Korosensei definitely is showing kind of human traits. But one of the things that was established in the first episode in a very threatening kind of way was, I only have a deal to not harm you guys.
Yeah.
But I can do whatever I want to anyone outside this classroom.
Don't forget, I'm going to destroy the Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's assume that Korosensei has some real negative emotions regarding the Earth as a whole. So humanity. Probably connected to the same reasons why Korosensei left the Earth at some point.
Destroying the moon was a show of force and venting, in my mind. It was not because, you know, he hated the moon, right? It was because moon. It was because he wanted to make everyone on Earth piss themselves, and because Daddy needs to express some rage.
He has the capacity for anger, and thus he's a lot more of a person, really.
And that's his journey, right? He's teaching these students, but they're also teaching him about that humanity is more than just whoever wronged him and did all those things in his past, right?
Right. So the class is a representation of his probable discrimination that he experienced.
Right.
But the fact that he's using them as a means by which he can then teach, you know, them how to kill him. What I think he's doing is this is kind of the what is this? It's one of those big kind of existential humanity tests where if we can end up doing good with the rejects of humanity, even though they are the elite rejects of humanity, then maybe humanity is worth sparing, you know? So
and also one of the things I'm really interested to see is, let's say they get to the point where they might actually be able to kill Korosensei. Do they want to? And then there's the whole thing of, hey, there's a lot of money behind this if we kill him. Yeah. You know, we could set ourselves up for life. Should we? He seemed to be a pretty good person. Well, he says he's going to kill the world, but that's not what we've seen, right?
Yeah, but see, that's like, the part. I think that's where they'll have to no matter what. And the real question also that could be brought up here is that if we end up getting conflicting data regarding his desire / intent or what he actually wants / likes to do, we could find out what is compelling him to destroy the Earth and solve that.
Right.
And then he might not have a reason anymore, but then it becomes the thing of where maybe they'll just have to say goodbye.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's
it's not that they have to kill him. It's that...
Right. Either way, they're going to graduate at the end of this year, whether the Earth is destroyed or not. Right. And there will be a new Class E, and maybe Korosensei will even move on himself.
That
who
class,
knows?
Maybe.
Or maybe he'll teach that class.
Sure.
But they're not going to be in it.
Oh.
They're not going to be in it.
Another thing that was a plot point that was brought up with the mysterious transfer student who's very edgy and definitely is not a bad boy.
Issues. And
exactly. I love that the fact that we could get new people brought into the class, even though we haven't been introduced to nearly any of the people in the class so far. The idea that we could get a new person in there means it would shake up a currently existing dynamic.
Yes.
And
a fresh perspective.
But what they talked about with regards to this kid was that if he didn't follow along with this whole thing, he could get memory wiped.
Yeah.
Now, if they have that kind of technology, it kind of leads me to believe that it would make sense that Korosensei was more created and formed rather than an alien.
And if his home is Earth, then
yeah, exactly. But that is another way you could end the story.
Is that the kids get memory wiped?
But then they have all the skills that they came with Korosensei, but they have no idea who to thank for them.
Sure, yeah,
So maybe this is something where it's not Korosensei at all. It's just the government having this very clever way to take the rejects and just train them really well into killers and hunting weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean...
And then once it's all done...
And then Korosensei has to rescue the kids from the government or something like that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways they could take this. Yeah. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general. And you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep, I wrote a sci-fi novel. It's called Battle Lines, and it's on Amazon for purchase. Link in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.